Sophie Cunningham, a player who most recently played for the Indiana Fever, and the reason why I have to say that is because it does not sound like she's going to be a member of the Indiana Fever anymore. It does not sound like it. Genuinely does not sound like it. Based on her podcast yesterday, it seems like she is gone, which is a pity. I'll be a fan of Sophie Cunningham. Just like, when there's players that, do well for your team and the organization just doesn't value them. Like, as in, the organization valued Damiris Dantas more than they valued Temi last year. So I'm like, I don't dislike that. I'll never dislike Temi. Temi was unbelievable. Temi would have been fantastic. Like, again, with a healthy Caitlin, Temi was better than Natasha Howard. That's just a fact. Like, the Indiana Fever, they had the best net rate. The lineup of Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, and Temi, 2 seasons in 2024, had the best net rating in the entire league. That lineup literally was the best 5 that played significant minutes in the entire league. So, look, I don't really mind. I'll never dislike a player that, gave their all for your team, and I know she absolutely hooped. So, no matter what happens with Sophie Cunningham, I'll always be a fan. But Sophie Cunningham clearly is somebody that is doing well commercially and has benefited commercially. Like, everyone's saying, like, oh, she wants the big, long contract. I'm still convinced she will take a hometown discount. I don't mean actual hometown. I mean, like, to just stay in Indiana. I'm convinced. But I'm also pretty convinced that the Indiana Fever don't want Sophie Cunningham back. I just have this weird feeling they don't want her back. But let's take a listen to this. Nice new commercial.
Colorways from Adidas and Damian Lillard.
Say night-night to your opponent in night purple. Be in your element with black sulfur or cause a shock with electric pink.
Where's electric pink?
Sophie Cunningham?
I'm busy.
Wow! Thank you.
So Sophie Cunningham is now one of, obviously, if there's an entire ad about her, she is one of the faces of the women's side of Adidas basketball. And it's to say that they haven't done pretty well. They have not done pretty well when it comes to women's basketball. Like, they had Candace Parker, I think, is in charge of it, but they have Satu, they have Aaliyah, and now Sophie Cunningham. So they are pushing it. Like, nobody's out there getting a signature deal or anything. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty cool thing. And I mean it. Like, I don't think she gets this opportunity, like, if she's not a member of the Indiana Fever. I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't think she gets the opportunity if she's not a member of the Fever. And that's why I still think it's the organization that don't want Sophie rather than vice versa. Because I think when it comes to this, like, there are shoe deals worth 6 figures that she's getting that she would not be getting with any other team. And people being like, oh yeah, no, she's just going to go and get the best contract possible. I think she's going to make the most money possible. It doesn't have to be in a contract. I think she's going to weigh up all the options. But I have a feeling, because, like, look, Sophie Cunningham took a hometown discount to stay in Phoenix because of all the off-the-court stuff. I think she probably would take a discount. I'm not saying she'd play for the minimum or anything. I still think she would take a discount. I have a weird feeling. Just like, do you remember last year? During the season, Kelsey Mitchell was like, they were like, oh, the All-Star Game's in Indiana. And she's like, it's good for them, I guess. It's good for them. And I'm like, have the Fever told Kelsey Mitchell they're not keeping her? And I still think up to that point, the Fever did not plan on giving Kelsey Mitchell a Supermax. They did not plan on giving Kelsey Mitchell a max. And with that, by not giving her a max, it means that she obviously wasn't going to probably stay Because last year someone would have given her a max. And up to that point, like, there was a point in the year for quite a while last year that, like, Kelsey Mitchell was not, and Caitlin's fit was very questionable. For a little bit longer than Caitlin and Leah Boston's fit was questionable, which was questionable for a while. It was Leah Boston that had to change her game for Caitlin Clark more so than anything. But it is, it is big. It is genuinely big. It's a big thing to see these players getting these deals. And when it comes to, obviously, look, when it comes to Sophie Cunningham herself, she's massively succeeded so far as a member of the Fever. She absolutely has. There's no question. There's no question about that. Like, she has absolutely succeeded. She is like, she's bigger than she ever was. She's realistically bigger than she ever would be without it. And look, you're not going to become a more relevant player when you leave the Fever. No matter how much better you get, no matter how much more money you get, you're not going to command the same social value when you're not a member of the Fever. That's just a fact. We know that. So it is interesting to see anyway. When it comes to Sophie, when it comes to all the other players in the league, like what their priorities are, because how much are these new contracts? And I still think it's the Fever. I still think it's the Fever organization that are going to be the ones that are not. If Sophie isn't a member of the Fever, I think it's because the Fever don't want her, or the Fever are going to prioritize a different player over her. And for me, there's like 4 players that play Sophie's role that I would take over Sophie. And you might be saying her and Lexi Hull do the same thing. I actually think they're nearly the polar opposites as players. But yeah, it is really an interesting one to see all around what is going to happen, honestly, with Sophie, with Lexi, with Natasha Howard. I think it's going to be a bit of a weird offseason. I wonder what's going to happen with free agency. I wonder what's going to happen all around with these players. And look, I wonder what's going to happen with the lockout more so than anything. I think the lockout is a pretty big thing. I think the lockout is a pretty big thing, making sure that doesn't happen and the season happens again. And on Rival starting, I guess. But with no Angel Reese, like, I don't know. It's going to be... I'll still report on it, but like, if you guys do want to listen to women's basketball, subscribe. But if you guys are not, if you guys are interested, in the NBA and stuff, I do have the Mick Hoops channel, which is doing surprisingly well. Like, in the last 48 hours, I've had my best 48 hours ever. Like, out of nowhere, it just started booming. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys.